Okay, so I had some notes and stuff about an anime I watched called Yona of the Dawn. Unfortunately, my son decided that it'd be a great idea to play with mommy's notebook and rip every single page out and apart. So, with that being said, I have 0 notes that I've taken on it. I do remember a lot of what I wrote about Yona of the Dawn. I don't know if I said of the dead. I'm sorry if there are any inaccuracies in the beginning of this film. So I have been watching a lot of anime. I've been catching up on some anime I've never finished. I've been catching up on anime that I still continuously love watching. And I've been watching a new anime which is going on in the background, and one of the reasons why I'm recording this is because it's kind of boring, but I want to finish it out to the end and see how it ends. At the same time as trying to keep track of my son. So anyway, so Yona of the Dawn. I liked the first season. I'm really anticipating wanting to have a second season on this series. I'm pretty sure though that this series is probably one of those ones that, because I don't know, I haven't really looked for any more of it yet. But I'm pretty sure it's one of the ones that is meant to be a teaser to make you go and buy the manga. Which a lot of anime does, you know, they're like, oh, well, we're going to give you this little special tidbits, and if you want to know more, you have to go and get the manga to read it, to figure out what happens next. Actually, no, that is a lie. I did go looking for it. I looked for it, I found it on Hulu, I looked for it on Crunchyroll, and thus far, they've only have, I think it's like 24 episodes, I believe, 24 or 12. That's usually like the consistency of anime. There's like either 24 episodes or there's 12 episodes. Rarely do you find an anime that has like 1 to 3 episodes. And those are massively rare, or less. Sorry, I got a little distracted by the screaming. So anyway, Yona of the Dawn. If you have not watched it, I will let you know now. There are going to be spoilers. So if you don't care about spoilers, groovy, let's continue on with this. If you do care about spoilers, quickly go watch, come back, or whatever. So, sorry, hold on. My eye itched. So first of all, the premise of this whole entire series is about 3 characters, 2 of which we mostly see, 1 of which we partially see. So there's Yona, Hawk, and Swona. Swano. Swana? I can't remember, and I don't have my notes. Maybe it's Suwano. Suwano, that's what it is. Okay, so it's about these 3 people. Okay, all 3 of which have grown up together. Yona is the princess, Hawk is the princess's guardian, and Suwona is the princess's cousin through her dad, because her dad is the king, who apparently took the throne from Suwona's dad, who is the oldest, and also apparently who, from what it said, died in battle. Suwona believes that he didn't die in battle, that in fact he was killed by Yona's dad, and Yona's dad's name is Il. So you really don't get much of an introduction to them, except for, you know, that you find out that they grew up together, they shared quite a bit together. And then I'm sorry, I'm a little tired. And then things just ended up going downhill. So, Hawk actually wasn't originally meant to be Yona's guardian. He ended up becoming Yona's guardian while protecting Yona from one of the 5 leaders' tribemen's sons. And there are 5 tribes that correspond with this kingdom. There is the fire, the wind, the earth, the water, and I don't really recall the 5th one. They don't really claim that one or talk about that one a lot. So the fire general's son was going after Yona, and then Hawk was like, hey, yo, why you doing touching my girl? And from then on, they kind of became servant and master. So now here's the funnier thing about this series. I want to say it's like a reverse harem series because of what ends up happening, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like a reverse harem series. Because Yona ends up having, like, her cousin eventually ends up kind of sort of having feelings for her. Hawk definitely has feelings for her. That is like the massive evidential sign ever, and they always do little slide jokes about it in the series, which is hilarious. Because, like, there's one time where he goes to try to kiss her, and she thinks that he's trying to, you know, check his temperature because he had a fever previously, and so she bonks him on the head. And he was like, you know, if you didn't want me to, all you had to do was dodge. You didn't have to hit me. And she was like, what are you talking about? So she's totally oblivious to how Hawk feels about her. In fact, she kind of tends to be pretty oblivious when it comes to any male who feels anything towards her. She likes to keep everyone in the friend zone, except for her very first and massive crush, her cousin Yona. I know, icky, disgusting, blah. But realistically, for the time period that this is based in, that isn't too far from reality of back then. I mean, back then you had cousins marrying cousins, brothers marrying sisters. You know, it was a mess back in, I guess, feudal times and medieval times and past times, because usually back then royalty wanted to keep it in the family, and most royalty, even the nobles, were somehow related to each other. But anyway, besides the point, I'm starting to run out of time. So she has to go on this long journey after her first love kills her father to find these 4 dragon masters who are also her brethren, because she still happens to be a legendary red dragon, which is why she has fiery red hair and whatnot. So they end up seeking out this prophet who leads them to this kind of, I guess you could say he's the Lolita boy of the group. He's not really a Lolita, but he's pretty close to it. He's a pretty boy. Very, very pretty boy. So they end up running into the white dragon, then it's the blue dragon, the green dragon, and then the yellow dragon. Now, the one thing I had the biggest issue with is that none of these characters really developed much character. Like, the only one that actually really changed majorly throughout this whole entire series was Yona. Because you don't really get to see a lot of Suwano. Maybe it's Suwano. So anyway, since you don't get to see enough of him, you don't really get to see much of a character development. So he kind of just stays the same, mediocre, very hard to see. They gave a lot of mystery to this character. With Hawk, he pretty much stays the same overprotective, bearing sweetheart that has a secret crush on the princess, but is obviously very relentless to her wishes and her wants, rather than trying to take advantage of their alone time together. Though sometimes he does try, and he does tease her about it. And it's really cute, the banter that they go back and forth. You can tell they have been longtime friends. The white dragon, you don't get much of a background on. I mean, you know that he grew up in a fine, fantastic place and everything's great and groovy. But there's nothing much else to his character, except for that he's like the most developed character already, because he already knows about his strengths, he already knows about his powers, he already knows how to use them to help the group out. So he's just kind of like meh. The blue dragon, on the other hand, I felt had the worst luck. Like, they treated this honorable dude with such hostility and hate that it's ridiculous. And it's sad. It really, really is sad how he was treated. And I'm so glad that, you know, they found him and rescued him. Otherwise, he would have continued out the rest of his life in a sad, meaningless droll. Anyway, so yeah, I felt sorry for the green dragon, and the fact that he didn't even really have a name to begin with. If I remember correctly, the white dragon's name was Jiggy, one of the two. Anyway, and then they named Yona. You're fine. Yona gave the green dragon his name, which meant moonlight. I don't remember what it was right now. And then the green dragon is a pirate who wanted to be rebellious against his destiny and wanted to create his own, which he kind of uses to his advantage later on. And he says, well, you know, there was nothing left for me to do, and so I'm just going to, you know, follow you guys, because you guys so happen to be going in the same direction that I'm going, and it'd be interesting to see where this takes me. So in denying his destiny, he doesn't deny his destiny. He actually goes forward with his destiny. And then the one that gets the least amount, I'm so sorry. We're unable to take him by surprise. Our priority is to cut off his retreat. The one that gets the least amount of screen time is the yellow dragon. There is literally nothing known about this dude. You get backstory on the white dragon, on the green dragon, and the white dragon. I mean, the blue dragon. But you get zero backstory on the yellow dragon. All you know is that he shows up at the very end and he's starving and hungry, and that's it. Like, you don't get to see what he can do, what his ability is. You don't get to see much of him at all. Like, there's zero character connection at all with this last character. And that is what makes me want to know more. I want to know more about the yellow dragon. So anyway, it's a really good anime. I binged watched it harsh. I watched it from morning into night, and it was really, really good. I did enjoy it, except for the few issues I had with no character development in any other character other than the main, and the fact that they gave zero to no screen time with the yellow dragon, so you can't really develop a connection with him, and it kind of just ends the storyline. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I gotta go because my time limit's almost up and YouTube hasn't granted me more time than 15 minutes. So love you, love, peace, and chicken grease. Bye bye.